to speak, pretend that I'm dreaming. I smell your breath, not listening, but I still hear you screaming. Going under, one step away till you hear what I'm saying. Sounds like thunder, and the clouds are closing in. You see, I know this, but the last days in real life I've noticed. Losing focus, breaking up from our life as we know it. If someone had told me that I will take off and find something greener, greener than gold. If someone had told me that I will be strong, I'm gonna rise and fly and leave the gold between the lines. I turn my head and hold it high, but it's making me shiver. He's not like you, don't want him to. He's more like the river, growing stronger. When we're alone, there's no you in the picture. Paint by numbers isn't how I want it to. You see, I know this, but the last days in real life I've noticed. Losing focus, breaking up from our life as we know it. If someone had told me that I will take off and find something greener, greener than gold. If someone had told me that I will be strong, I'm gonna rise and fly and leave the gold between the lines. Whatever you do, what we were, now he's my silver lining. Whenever you call, what you say, you're nothing but a gold ring. To be true, say I do, but you're no one I needed in life. Oh, that is why you are stuck between the lines. If someone had told me that I will take off and find something greener, oh, greener than gold. If someone had told me that I will be strong, oh, I'm gonna rise and fly and leave the gold between the lines.
I don't think that I'm being that selfish right now. You said yourself you'd be brave and here you down. I can understand you're tired of this town, and I'm not saying that we have to settle down now. Just remember this: we could have been stardust, same world but without us. Something made us find each other out there. Made us realize we're more than just stardust. Ignore this fact if you must, to do what your dreams are telling you to do. And I'll be out there looking for someone like you. Stardust, stardust. I'm the lazy one, so I guess I should have known. You said yourself you wanna do this alone. What if your dreams are making it hard to think straight? If you still love me, I can wait, I can wait. And remember this: we could have been stardust, same world but without us. Something made us find each other out there. Made us realize we're more than just stardust. Ignore this fact if you must, to do what you're each other out there. Made us realize we're more than just stardust. Ignore this fact if you must, to do what your dreams are telling you to do. And I'll be out there looking for someone like you.
I'm getting chills when they tell me you're not yourself. Trying to move, but it's hard, I'm out of breath. Nothing belongs to you in life. Oh, the picture of you cuts like a knife. Whatever they call us, whatever they'll do, they're running in circles, circle of fools. Whatever we will miss, got nothing to prove. But in the dark, I'm starting to. Whatever they call us, whatever they'll do, we're running together, I'll be here for you. Whatever we will miss, we find something new. But in the dark, I'm starting to. I'm missing what's you. I see your face, your mouth looks like mine. Pretend to dream, surrounded by ghosts in white. And nothing belongs to you in life. Oh, the picture of you cuts like a knife. Whatever they call us,